2025-2026 Houston Texans season is over. They lost to the New England Patriots today, 28-16 in Foxborough, and it's got us once again asking a lot of questions about what this team is going forward and any changes they might need to make in the offseason. There is one player that needs to be the center of everyone's attention, and I'm very curious how you feel about him. Who is that player? Let's get into it. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is a Texans post-game edition of the Gallant Says podcast, live on Sunday, January 18th, 2026. Hit it!
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
Grow up, motherfucker. You kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oi! The Gallant Says podcast is live on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Twitch, give me a follow. I'd appreciate a sub. Instagram at Sports Gallant, X at Gallant Says Pod. Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, X at Gallant Says Pod. And on Instagram as well at Sports Gallant. You can also get after this on TikTok at Gallant Says, or after the fact in podcast form, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Good grief. It felt like it was going to be different this time around. I think all of us were believing that this is going to be the first time that the Houston Texans could get past the divisional round of the playoffs and into the AFC Championship game. Alas, earwax, here we are again. There's lots of fingers to point, but it all starts with CJ Stroud. What a wretched performance. And sure, like every quarterback in the National Football League, he did make some throws. But at the very least, agree with me on this. There's no reason to make excuses for him anymore. Just agree with me on that. If you want to hear how I honestly feel about it, I no longer believe in him. I'm out. What does believe in him mean? Is he a top 10 quarterback? No. He was a top 5 quarterback his rookie season. He regressed the year afterwards. It's the offensive line. It's the offensive coordinator. You can the offensive coordinator. The offensive line got a little bit better. Some injuries that they had to deal with today. 4 first-half interceptions. I mean, how do you talk that one away? How do you make excuses for that one? You can't. You can't. And sure, if you take a look at all the interceptions, oh, well, I mean, take a look at the blocking on interception number 1. Take a look at the hands of his receivers. 4 first-half interceptions. You know, we made fun of Trevor Lawrence for doing that against the Chargers a couple of years ago. Trevor Lawrence and the Chargers won that game. This is one of those games where you just say to yourself after the fact, same old Texans, the game's in the cold, it's in the rain, they look like a bunch of Southerners who are out of place. They look like the Lannisters marching north on House Stark. It's cold, it's wet, it's damp. And despite some good moments by the Texans defense, who did not play their A game either, and definitely all of the praise that they got, 85 Bears-esque. Drake May did not make them look like that. Shout out to Drake May. He looked great. Shout out to Kayshon Boutte. Talked some trash, backed it up. Texans have only themselves to look at in the mirror, but I think everyone, while looking in the mirror, they're not focusing on the entirety. They're focusing on one little spot, that pimple that won't go away, and it's CJ Stroud, and it's a future expensive pimple. Texans are going to roll with him. The odds of the Texans not picking up his 5th-year option are extremely low. The odds of the Texans not giving him that extension that we're all going to look at like, also very low. You are going to have CJ Stroud as your quarterback next year. But at this point, what do you do to make it better? Do you move on from Nick Caley and give him Mike McDaniel? Is that going to stop 4 interceptions from happening? And look, I will once again say, Stroud had some really nice throws in this game. He had some brutal throws as well. First interception. Oh, it's a great play by the Patriots. Second interception. Harrison Bryant misses his block. He trips instead of chipping. Third interception. Xavier Hutchinson drops it. It gets returned for the touchdown, right? Was that, or no, hang on. Again, you lose track of all the interceptions. I think the one where Bryant missed the block is the one that Cougs legend Marcus. How am I forgetting his name? Sorry, everybody. You'll have to cut me some slack. I did watch the majority of this game at Easy's Liquor Lounge. Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones gets the pick 6. Like, you could make excuses for some of the interceptions, but then when there's 4 and you ultimately finish with a stat line like this, brace yourselves. This is brutal. CJ Stroud finished this game 20 of 47. Oh, 47, jeez. 212 yards, 4.5 yards per attempt. That is putrid. 4 interceptions. He sacked 3 times in this game. He got no help from the running game. He got no help from the offensive line. No Nico Collins. He lost Dalton Schultz early. You can keep on making excuses and excuses for him if you really want to, but aren't we done? Can we all agree? We're done. We're done with the excuses. Because I think that's what believing in CJ Stroud meant up to this point. You were willing to talk around everything that he's been unable to do and blame it on someone else. Can we all agree it's on Stroud? Can we make this more than the race war that at times it's been, where it does feel like at times some people are a little bit defensive about CJ Stroud because of how he looks? I know some people don't like to hear that, but who are you looking at other than CJ Stroud right now after a game where your defense did enough? Didn't look great, but it did enough. Held the Patriots to 3 yards a carry. Held Drake May to under 200 yards passing. You sacked him 5 times. You forced a bunch of fumbles. 4 fumbles by Drake May. You got an interception. I mean, you took the football away. Texans defense, not their best effort, but it all comes back to CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, I don't believe in him anymore. I did at one point. I am not closing the door on ever believing in him again, but like I don't know what I'm supposed to do to get back to looking at that guy again and thinking to myself, this guy is it. This guy is the bee's knees. So now you wonder what happens next. First off, and we'll play some of DeMeco Ryans' press conference in a moment. We'll play some of CJ Stroud's press conference in a moment. We'll Mystery Science Theater 3000 it. We'll watch it and we'll comment along the way. But now you got to look at everyone that makes the big decisions for the Texans and wonder, okay, what's going on? First off, start with the owners. Cal McNair, Hannah McNair. They see this performance. They got to, at the very least, be thinking to themselves, can we do better at quarterback? Can we do better? It's a natural thing to think. It's not till death do us part. Even the Patriots and Tom Brady parted ways eventually. Peyton Manning and the Colts parted ways eventually. Can we do better than this? 4 interceptions and 20 of 47. You would think yes. Patriots defense deserves credit. How much credit do they deserve? How much credit? So it starts with the ownership. Who are they looking at right now as the sacrificial lamb? Or do they decide to go into next year without making any changes? Do you look at Nick Caserio, the general manager of this team, and say, well, he's done a great job putting this defense together. Will Anderson, home run. Signing Danielle Hunter, home run. Drafting Derek Stingley Jr., home run. Drafting Kamari Lassiter, home run. Azeez Al-Shaair, signing him. A DeMeco Ryans guy, by the way. Home run. Nick Caserio would be, given how long he's been here, the first person theoretically on the chopping block. Did he do enough this offseason to fix the offensive line? Can he figure out what it takes to make an offensive line better? How does ownership feel about Nick Caserio? We start there. Then, how does ownership feel about offensive coordinator Nick Caley? And I know a lot of people are going to point the finger at Nick Caley, but I would encourage you to start by pointing at CJ Stroud and then Nick Caley, if you so choose. Because there's only so much the coaches can do. You went from Bobby Slowick before, where it seems like he and CJ Stroud had a bit of an adversarial relationship at times, at least based off of that meeting that they had before the Texans drafted him. And then you move to the Nick Caley era, and it seems like Nick Caley was like the good cop, the Bobby Slowick's bad cop this year. Did you get more out of CJ Stroud this season with Caley running the show? Did Stroud like this offense? Do you think to yourself, if you're ownership, let's ask DeMeco Ryans how he feels. And that's, I think, after we ask what ownership's feeling about the general manager and about the offensive coordinator, that's where we get to next. How does DeMeco Ryans feel about CJ Stroud? If you're DeMeco Ryans, no matter what you might think about CJ Stroud going into this game, coming out of this game, being a defensive-minded coach, how can you look at Stroud as anything but not the guy coming out of this one? How can you look at CJ Stroud and not be disappointed, if not pissed off and angry at him after what happened today? How? Even if it's not based in logic. And by the way, in case you didn't know, Stroud was 20 of 47 today with 4 interceptions, all of them thrown in the first half. And the Texans still had a chance to hang in there. And I'm not acting like DeMeco's got no blame in this game. Punting down 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes to go. What the fuck was that? Waving the white flag. Challenge. This is a challenge flag. I'm challenging whether or not you're the epitome of a Southerner. Oh, it's cold outside. Oh, it's raining. Oh, I'm going to go home. What are you, the fucking Confederates in the Civil War? Come on. That was bullshit. But to bring it back, DeMeco Ryans, I'm sure, is in the best of graces with the Texans ownership. DeMeco Ryans is going to get what he wants, I would assume, if he wants to make some changes after this game. Does he want to stick with Nick Caley? And do they decide Mike McDaniel's available? And it depends on if Mike McDaniel wants to be a head coach again. I would think he wouldn't want to be a head coach again after everything he dealt with in Miami. He's going to wait for the better situation. Can Mike McDaniel, come to Houston and fix things? Mike McDaniel work with DeMeco Ryans. Like, that's the hope right now, is that Mike McDaniel comes in here and it's just better for CJ Stroud with McDaniel than it is with Caley. But it's all about CJ Stroud right now. Sure, Texans going to run the football. Were you expecting them to run the football against this defense? By the way, mind-blowingly bad statistics. 14 carries, 17 yards for Woody Marks. Yeah. That is, if you're doing your math, 1.2 yards a carry. A little more than 1. So, there's that. I know some people are going to make excuses. Oh, he doesn't have an offensive line. Oh, he doesn't have an offensive coordinator. Oh, he doesn't have his top receivers in this game. And he didn't have his top receivers in this game. No Nico Collins, and he lost Dalton Schultz early. But it all becomes fart noises eventually. You know? Anyway, everybody. Let's take a look at some comments. And by the way, we can get comments in all sorts of different ways thanks to our new chat system. Still having issues putting the Instagram comments into the actual feed to the side, but a very lively TikTok, a very lively YouTube, and a very lively Twitch. To this point, Day One Donna asks, how many turnovers? Too many. J.A. Carr asks, like, you're going to have to trade a lot more than C.J. Stroud to get those guys. And honestly, if you're the Bills or the Bengals, why would you trade for C.J. Stroud right now? You know? Like, sunk cost. At the very least, I guess, if you want to negotiate a new contract with C.J. Stroud, you can start from a pretty low spot. But I imagine David Mulligan's like, well, let's see what happens this coming season. But I imagine that C.J. Stroud is going to get an extension from the Texans, too, on top of that. I don't think that the Texans are going to opt for the unknown. They're going to continue to think that they can get back to what he was in 2023. Maybe I'm wrong on that front, but there's a reason that a lot of people, myself included, believed in this guy. I am now at the point where I no longer believe in him. Let's take a look at some comments on the YouTube side of things. Brandon Hallam is rooting for the Broncos. Sorry, dude. The Broncos are fucked. It's Jared Stidham under center after Bo Nix got hurt. Someone says I should dress up as Kevin Stefanski for Halloween. Ew, he's not as hot as me. Fabro Rodriguez says McNair's got to sell a team. Never going to happen. King got a King says, congrats to your Pats, Paul. Real organization. I wanted, as my hair gets a little bit screwy, I wanted the Texans to, at the very least, not embarrass themselves in this game. In the last earwax, they did. They embarrassed themselves. Bucko says Mac Jones. No, Mac Jones stinks. He stinks. He absolutely stinks. Let's go to the press conferences. Let's see what CJ Stroud had to say. Let's see what DeMeco Ryans had to say. Let's move everybody to that, which I'm sure we'll get some insight on what the Houston Texans plan to do next, but nothing that's going to make us happy. Because here we are once again, eliminated in the second round. 0-for-7 in their attempts to make it to the AFC Championship game. Everything is bad, nothing is good. You know, it's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Greg Todd says I'm too close to the Mac Jones thing since he was a Pats QB. Bro, he fucking sucks. He's soft. He's fat. No. And he's fake. It's like everything I do not like in a human, let alone a quarterback. Let's see. Here we go. This is Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans at the post-game press conference for your Houston Texans.
Good evening. First and foremost, and all glory, honor, and praise to God. I'm just
No. I don't want to hear no God talk.
thankful for the season that we were able to have. Didn't finish the way we would like to see, but I'm proud of this team, proud of these guys for just being the light and shining bright. Guys accomplished a lot of firsts, did a lot of great things, throughout this year. Provided a ton of inspiration to a lot of people, especially to the city of Houston. So no, we're not coming back with the win, but we know we have a ton of fans that are proud of what these guys were able to accomplish this year. And
I don't think they're that proud of what the Texans accomplished this year. You got to the sucker run of the playoffs. You're out. You didn't win the division. No home playoff games. You lost again to the Patriots. No.
And I'm proud of these guys as well.
I am proud of what they did in the regular season. I am not proud of this.
And when you're in a game of, of this magnitude, we've done a great job all year of protecting the football and running the ball well. That's been our formula. And to come here when
Pause for a moment. The idea that you thought you were going to run the football against this team with what your running back situation is, which was no Joe Mixon going into the year, a team that couldn't run the football last year unless Joe Mixon did stuff where he was pulling rabbits out of his hiney. You were crazy. You were crazy to think that running the ball on the Steelers meant you were going to run the ball on the Patriots, who have one of the best run defenses in the league. More DeMeco.
we needed it most, we didn't protect the ball. And it's tough to think that you're going to, win a game when you turn the ball over 5 times. And we still had opportunities there. Guys still battle. That's why I love this team. Even though, you shouldn't be able to come back from 5 takeaways, we were still fighting. We were still scratching and clawing.
He is right on that. They were somehow in this game. They were down 21-16 at one point, despite having turned the football over as much as they did.
On to be in that position. No, CJ's our guy. I believe that he could come back out in the
That pause was interesting. I believe that. More DeMeco.
second half and flip it. I believe that he could play better, and he did that in the second half. He did play better. We had some positive drives there in the second half. because I believe that he would do that, and he did that. And as I always tell our guys at halftime, it doesn't matter what happened in the first half.
Well, it does a little bit.
You have to flush it, remove it, and you just have to go out and finish the right way. And I told you, we've been there before. We've been in situations much more dire than this, and we were able to bounce back. So, in my mind, there was no doubt in my mind that we would be able to overcome that.
Pause for a moment. Interesting question asked by Pablo Hernandez on the TikTok side of things. Your opinion, Davis Mills at halftime. I think they should have thought about it. I don't know that Davis Mills gives them any more. And look, Stroud didn't turn it over in the second half at the very least. And that first drive of the second half, like they moved the football down the field, he looked a little bit better. But I was open to it at halftime. And the fact that I was open to it at all is a massive indictment on CJ Stroud. More from DeMeco Ryans. And yes, a lot of people are commenting about CJ Stroud right now. It is more on CJ Stroud, whether you're on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. It is more on Stroud than anybody.
Given how well you ran the football against Pittsburgh, did you anticipate having this much difficulty against their defense?
Yeah, we knew that in their interior defensive linemen were really good players. Milton and also Barmore, really good players, and they did a good job, and they controlled the front tonight. Like last week, yeah, we were able to control the front. We were able to run the ball. We did not control the front well at all. Did not run it well. Did not do a great job up front. Did not run it well when we had opportunities. So, credit to the Patriots for what they did up front with their interior defensive linemen.
Shout out to Texas Tags for the super chat. Texas Tag says CJ has to go. If they pay him, I'm out. They threw the ball 47 times with him today, despite all this belief that CJ Stroud, that DeMeco Ryans is talking about with the running game, which is crazy. Day One Donna asks on Instagram at Sports Gallant, did you see any adjustments in the second half? Not really. CJ stopped turning the football over. Oh, God.
I would have to look at the tape to see exactly what happened, what were the miscues on the interceptions.
Oh. I got to look at the tape. Well, look, it was not necessarily all on CJ for each of those interceptions, but the 4 interceptions in totality are on CJ, if that makes sense. Oh, and shout out to Trill, the guy in the blue Andre Johnson jersey who was at Easy's. I empathize with you. I was feeling all the feelings that you were feeling. I know a lot of people are commenting right now, and most people know, if you've followed me long enough, you guys know that I grew up a Patriots fan, and I mean, my heart wanted the Patriots to win, but I wanted the Texans to show up, and it's better for me professionally, if I've seen the Patriots win 6 Super Bowls. I've had enough. It's better for me professionally if the Texans advance to an AFC Championship game. And, I mean, if they made it to the AFC Championship game, I don't care how little faith you have in CJ Stroud. Like, they were 100% beating Jarrett Stidham, the son-in-law of noted Sensi boy Tad Brown, former Rockets president, who once tried to fire one of my co-hosts because we read an article from the Houston Chronicle about the Rockets' ratings tanking. No team deserved to miss 27 straight threes more than the Tad Brown era Houston Rockets. More DeMeco Ryans.
No, I just felt like you just keep battling. Like that's my main thing. Like in the game, a lot of bad things happen, and that's the nature of the game. Bad plays happen. You just move on and you go to the next play. Right, and that's where you can't let one bad play turn into another. You just keep punching, and that's what I wanted to see our guys keep doing.
I mean, to DeMeco's point, they hung in there, I guess.
The field is pretty slippery. It was one of those rare weather conditions where it wasn't snow. It was kind of this icy mix. Were there grip issues at all for CJ Stroud in the game?
I would have to ask CJ about that one.
Ooh, there we go. There we go. All right, I gotta see if I can hear that question.
You just move on and you go to the next play. Right, and that's where you can't let one bad play turn into another. You just keep punching, and that's what I wanted to see our guys keep doing.
You're not a fan of excuses, Stroud in the game?
Okay, so she asked if there were grip issues for CJ Stroud. I mean, it looked like he wasn't ready for the weather. There was a post that I believe, I think Kevin O'Connor, who's a Boston-based basketball guy, posted about how CJ in the past had talked about how he doesn't like throwing in the weather. Let me see if I can find that actually really quick, because it was an interesting little snippet that he had posted from CJ Stroud. I forget when this article that was involved Stroud was written. Let's take a look. By the way, guys, if you wanted CJ Stroud to cry at the podium like he's Josh Allen, didn't happen. Oh, this is the lamest. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out a way where you guys can actually see the whole thing. Okay, that'll allow you to see the whole thing. Hang on a second. I am making sure that you're able to see it. You should be watching along on YouTube. I appreciate the TikTokers out here, but on YouTube at Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, X at Gallant Says Pod, Instagram at Sports Gallant, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Here we go. CJ Stroud was asked if there's a current rule in the NFL you could change, or if you could create a rule, what would it be? I have two. Can I do two? I would say that everybody has to have a dome if you're in a cold area. Soft boys, in a tough sitch. Ime Udoka thinks you're a bitch. That's lame. That is lame. And two, more cool uniforms. I don't think that uniforms are meant to be so generic. Tradition is fine. But I think that it would make the game more fun. Every cold game in a dome, but it's okay. You get used to it. Actually, I love playing in the cold, but it's love-hate. I don't know if he loved playing in the cold today. Here is more from Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans at the podium.
I would have to ask CJ about that one.
To follow up on that, what did you see from CJ? You said you were confident you would come out in the second half. Do you feel like his confidence was still strong going?
Yeah, he came out the second half, and we had a really nice drive there at the beginning of the second half to go down, and we should have scored there, but we ended up getting points, and we got us in field goal range. We were able to get points. So, yeah, I felt that our entire sideline felt it. He bounced back and gave us a really great positive drive to start the half.
I don't disagree with that.
Keep your head up. I love you. Like, I got your back. And that's what I told him at halftime. This whole team has your back. Like, we're in this thing together from day one. Like, it doesn't change for me. Like, we have a really special group, a tight-knit group. When things don't go your way, you have bad performances, it's not a time to point fingers or say it's on one person. If anybody, it all starts with me. For me,
there we go. There's the head coach.
As the head coach of this team, we didn't perform well. Obviously, I didn't have our guys, ready to go in this moment. So that starts with me. We stick together.
He's got the tongue out there, too. So, look, DeMeco's the CEO. A couple of comments on TikTok. Do you feel CJ Stroud should have been pulled? I thought about it. At halftime, of course, DeMeco is going to be encouraging to the starting quarterback of the team, and he's not going to be out on him. But you got to wonder about the defense. And I think back to 2016 when the Texans' defense was really good and Brock Osweiler was the quarterback, and I think the defense had their own what's the word? I think they had their own little corner in the locker room, and they probably were talking shit about Brock Osweiler all the time. Because, I mean, how couldn't you, given he struggled and he also was he was trying so hard to be a leader to the point where he just sounded phony, He read books about it. I'll give him credit for trying. It's not like he didn't try, at least. It's not like he Jamarcus Russell did or anything like that. But I imagine there's a lot of players on the defensive side of things that are not happy with CJ Stroud. They feel like they let him down, even if they are trying to have his back publicly, privately. How do they really feel about it? 4 interceptions in the first half. And sure, you're going to be nice, and it seems like this locker room is pretty tight-knit, but then this happens, and it happened last year to a degree. It was more I think Stroud played better against the Chiefs than he did in this game. Obviously, 4 first-half interceptions, tough to do worse than that. But I doubt that the locker room feels the way DeMeco Ryans said he felt there. More DeMeco Ryans.
You have such a high standard for the defense. How do you think the defense did overall in this one?
I thought the defense did good. Will, Daniil did what they always do. They got after the quarterback. They gave us opportunities, got the ball out multiple times, so it gave us opportunities to stay in the game.
That's true.
Say that again? And we didn't punt on third down.
Oh, they fucked up that question.
Yeah, I mean, at the end.
They should have gone for it on 4th and 6, by the way. I know what he's talking about here. And let me find the actual part of the game where they had an opportunity to go for it on 4th and 6. What was this? In the fourth quarter. Let me think. Where was this? I want to say, because there was a drive where the Patriots ran 6 minutes off of the clock after Tommy Townsend had a really good punt down to, I think, like the Patriots, I want to say 4. 3rd and 6. Texans at their own 27. They were down at this point 28-16. With 12:09 to go, they punt, and Tommy Townsend puts together the best punt that you're ever going to see. 69 yards, nice, to the 4. And the Texans gave up a 10-play drive to midfield that took up 6 minutes of clock time. Patriots get the ball back. Excuse me, I keep on confusing the Texans and the Patriots. Oh, Paul, is that because of your rooting interest? Yeah, it actually is. But the Texans get the ball back with 6 minutes to go. It's 4:54 to go. 3rd and 10 at your own 29, and you're sacked for 8 yards. It's 4th and 18. You got to go for it. You're not going to score twice in 4 minutes. You get sacked with 4:54 to play, and you let 30 seconds run off the clock. I mean, they picked weird moments for a lack of urgency. And that's been an all-season thing, and you can point to Nick Caley for that. Let's get back to DeMeco Ryans at the press conference, head coach of your Houston Texans.
At the end of the day, I make decisions there in the game for us to get the ball back on deep, get the ball to our defense, and see if we can make a play.
What's the source of your faith in CJ? I mean, I know that you have a deep faith in him. What's the source of your faith in him?
Yeah, I believe, CJ has done a lot of great things throughout this entire year, right? And
so at least some CJ Stroud questions.
I know CJ. I know what it means to him. And if anybody, you think about, how anybody's feeling at this moment, you think about CJ. I think about the man first and foremost, right? It's not about the player. Of course, it's not what we would have hoped for. It's not what we thought would happen. But I still stand by the young man, believe in him and what he's done for us to be in the position we're in right here today, right? It's because of, him and all of the guys on our team for battling, fighting hard, making the plays to put us in this position.
That's a very understanding man. That is a guy that you want in your foxhole, yada, 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 blah, blah, fucking blah. But you got to wonder what DeMeco's really thinking in a league where the margin for error is so small, and you had a golden opportunity to make it to a Super Bowl. You win this game, you're in the Super Bowl. You're going up against Jared Stidham next round. I don't care if CJ Stroud turns the ball over 5 times. I bet Jared Stidham would turn it over 6 times. DeMeco's saying all the right things that you want to hear if you're CJ Stroud. And, of course, at a press conference podium, how much stock do you put into anything that's said by a head coach? You shouldn't put that much stock into anything. I go back to my time in Seattle where I interviewed Pete Carroll, and I asked him at the end of the year after they lost in the playoffs to the Rams, I asked him straight up, hey, Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator, is he going to be here next year? And he said, yeah. And they fired him hours later. Now he's the head coach of the Cowboys. What they say to us ultimately doesn't matter. And I like that publicly he has his back instead of talking shit. I do think it's kind of messed up to publicly backtalk someone. Unless you're trying to get under his skin because the guy doesn't get it. But I don't think this is for a lack of effort by Stroud. Still, you open your press conference thanking the Lord. You continue in your press conference saying, I'm thinking about CJ Stroud, the man. Well, none of us are feeling that way. None of us are thinking about that. We're all thinking about the guy who threw 4 interceptions in the first half. Sorry. You can humanize the guy all you want, But it's tough to humanize when you had that disastrous of an offensive performance and your defense does, for the most part, what it's supposed to do. More of DeMeco Ryans.
Well, there'll be a lot of time to reflect and to think about what went right, what went wrong. As you head into this offseason, what do you feel like needs to happen to make the offense?
Yeah, I'm not in the mood to talk about the offseason right now. Right here, right now, I'm proud of our team for making it to this moment. Our guys did an outstanding job. A place where a lot of the teams would love to be. It didn't end how we wanted to end, for sure. We keep battling, right? That's one little hiccup here, right? We just keep battling. Yep.
Not thinking about the offseason right now. Okay. When do you think about the offseason?
I wish we knew. We don't want to have the turnovers. That's the most turnovers we've had probably all year. We've been top in the league of protecting the ball all year. And for us to come out in these past 2 games and have the amount of turnovers that we've had, you know, it's not winning football. So we got to find a way to not have that, clean it up, and get it fixed. It never deflates us. When there's time on the clock, we're always in it. Like, it's
Then don't punt.
they make plays too. Like, that, it's the NFL. The other team will make plays. Credit to the kid. He made a really outstanding one-handed catch. It was a really great catch by him.
Coach, what is missing to get over this hump of the divisional round for a third year in a row?
Yeah, we got to play better football. There's not any secrets. We got to protect the ball. We got to play better football when we get in this moment. For the past 3 years, we have not played well, haven't protected the ball well, and we have not executed well in this moment. So it's not a magical elixir that's going to happen to get past the divisional round. It's still football. And you got to go out and you got to execute football really well in these moments, and we have not done that.
Cool. I think this is the last question. And again, if you're watching on TikTok, watch on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, or X. Hope we appreciate
You keep
watching.
the main thing. For me, we can't go back and replay the game right now. So in this moment right now, it's a moment of gratitude, a moment of thankfulness.
Okay, fuck this. I'm done. Sorry, DeMeco, credit to you, but no, fuck that. They lost. This is a game against a team that has not been to the second round of the playoffs in a while, with a head coach in his first year, with a talent level that is probably not as high as you would expect for a team in the second round of the playoffs, given that they were, one of the worst teams in the league last year. 14-3 is impressive. I like Drake May. For those who don't know, I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm going to be rooting for the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and I do think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. But in this game, I wanted the Texans to do more, and that was embarrassing. And I don't want to hear that stuff from DeMeco. Now, do we want to hear from CJ Stroud? Do we want to hear from him? And by the way, there are many ways to contact the Gallant Says podcast. You can email me, gallantsays@gmail.com. You can actually send a text message as well to the Gallant Says voicemail and text message line, 281-836-3912. Again, it's 281-836-3912. Bear Brothers says, you notice how MLB will stop play during inclement weather conditions and resume when clean up or make up that game later? The NFL, no, let's have fun in shitty ass snowy rain conditions. Sorry, you miss me with this soft ass stuff where you're like, oh, I don't want to play outside. I'm sorry. I think that's so soft. I really do. Oh, it's cold out. It's raining. Playing it. It's football. This is a blood and guts sport. Everyone who wants to play indoors is, in my opinion, and respectfully, a pussy. Like, this is meant to be played in the elements. It is a test of character, of fortitude. It is a game that is above all other sports. Basketball, especially today, these millionaires who barely give a shit, fuck them. Baseball, too many games, I don't give a shit. Football is the peak of American sport. It's violent. It's a sport where every team actually does have a chance to win on any given Sunday and any given year. And your team had one of the best defenses in the league, and you weren't able to get to the finish line. because your quarterback seemingly can't play outside. Screw this. The elements. No, sorry. One more time, in case you didn't understand what I'm trying to say. What you are, if you want to play inside all the time. Soft boys, in a tough sitch. Ime Udoka thinks you're a bitch. Fuck that. Sack up, put on a scuba suit, and figure it out. By the way, Rams-Bears tied with 5:30 to go. I've not watched really any of this game, but shout out to the Rams hanging in there. Once the fourth quarter starts, that's when I get a little bit nervous if I am LA. More audio after after the Texans lost a couple of hours ago now. Patriots 28, Texans 16. DeMeco Ryans, after he spoke, it was about 40 minutes until CJ Stroud spoke with the media. I imagine he is not the happiest camper in the world, and he shouldn't be. He played poorly. Here is the Texans quarterback after the game.
Yeah, first, I mean, before I do anything, I want to give God the glory, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Listen, I get it. Everyone's religious and stuff, but it's always that first. Anyway.
Christ, and without him, I'm nothing, and I just appreciate him giving me this opportunity, this platform to play this great game with this great organization. So, just grateful for that. I mean, I think I'm a pretty self-confident person. I think. When they started to pile up, I tried my best to, stay, locked in the spirit and, realizing I just got to be there for my teammates, and they encouraged me a lot through it. So I'm really appreciative of this team and, them doing that because they didn't have to. But yeah, it was not easy. It's something that I'm gonna learn from, and, I'm just grateful for my teammates for picking me up.
Well, they did pick him up defensively, but only so much picking up you can do. A shout out to Hamza for the follow and the heart me on the TikTok. I don't know what that means.
You reflect on the ups and downs, the highs and lows of the season. What does the game as you go forward do for you as you head into off season, kind of trying to just continue to improve with you every year?
Yeah, I look back at the season and just once again, I can't just be anything but grateful for the teammates I have.
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know if I can make it through this. I'm grateful. Okay, but, and Caleb Williams just got picked up. Anyway, more from CJ Stroud after the game.
I have the coaches that I have, as organizations, the city of Houston, the fans, and I just, I look back and I just feel like I let people down, and not happy with that, and it hurt.
Let me down. I picked against my favorite team. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of New Englanders in my matchup. Yeah, you said our schedule isn't any good. Yeah, what are you talking about, dude? You thought CJ Stroud was gonna beat us? He's gonna beat Drake May. So I got to deal with this. I'm going to take bullets for you guys for the next couple of days. More Stroud.
And I'm not, naive to it. I didn't play my best this year, but I'm going to, respond. I'm going to, keep my chest up, my chin up high, and I'm going to just keep battling forward. God before me, who can be against me, and I'm just going to rely on that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think,
so much God talk.
That, just our team doing great, our defense, getting stops. And I just being careless with the football. I gotta, get that fixed, and something that I know I can. So I'm gonna get that done.
Okay, well that's fun. Comment on Facebook. Brady Whalen says CJ interception Stroud. Trash. Got to figure out how to get the Facebook comments back in here as well.
At any point did you find yourself going, maybe this isn't my night, let's win this one at REAX and have another game? Does that even enter a guy, a competitor like you, your mind?
No, ma'am. I don't think that's smart on my part to, get myself out the game. And, I don't think my coach would ever do that either. But if he did, I would understand. But I think, my whole team trusts me. They believe in me.
I don't know about that.
just like how quick it can go bad, they know how quick I can get hot. So, you know, today it just wasn't my day, and I appreciative of, you know, my teammates having my back once again. But yeah, that doesn't cross my mind. I believe in myself, regardless of what happens on the field. I'm going to continue.
Whoever asked that question, shout out to you. That was a good question. I know he's telling us that he feels confident in himself, but his body language during the game begged to differ. And I doubt that all of his teammates have his back after this one. I doubt it. More CJ Stroud.
I mean, I think just trying to make plays, you know, trying to, you know, push the ball down the field and, you know, put our team in position to score. So my intent in it is never to get to do that, you know, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and, you know, that happened today, and I'll take full responsibility. You know, something I'm going to learn from is just, you know, ball security is everything, especially, you know, the way our defense has played all year. And it's something that I've done a pretty good job of, you know, up to this point. So I'm going to continue to, you know, get better in that area. And, you know, I'm not happy with myself when it comes to that because, I mean, I'm giving, you know, points and opportunities away from our team. And we have so many great players on our team, great, you know, on offense, defense, special teams. And the way our defense played all year, just I'm just very, you know, I'm not happy with, you know, with that.
Well, that's good. He's not happy with it. We like that.
Yeah.
Juicy J said this is a girthy microphone, brother. Yeah, it is big. The TikTok angle, this does look like it's right in my face. I really wish that we were able to stream this. The feed I'm seeing right now on that you guys are seeing on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, X, etc. on TikTok. Funny comment. Where did it go? Eric Juarez, here it is. Trolling Trevor Lawrence all season, and this is what your quarterback does. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, Lawrence screwed up a few times in the game against the Bills, but Stroud screwed up more. More Stroud or something.
Yeah, you know, I remember, you know, not feeling the best, and for him to come up and say that, you know, means a lot. You know, I remember coming up on my 30 visit when I was, you know, just about to get drafted. I was 20 years old, and, you know, young, wet behind the ears, and, you know, he told me no matter.
Still feels wet behind the ears, especially today, given that it was wet outside and you don't seem to be good in the weather anyway.
If you come on this team, no matter what happens, I'm going to always have love for you, and I'm always going to be there for you. So, you know, for him to say that in that moment really means a lot. And not only just him, but, you know, a lot of my teammates did that, and coaches and, you know, loved ones. So, you know, I'm just really appreciative of that. You know, that support really helps me because, you know I get the other side of it as well, you know, where I get, you know, so, and I'm well-deserved of all of it. You know, I don't shy away from good or bad. I'm going to keep my chest up, you know, my chin high, regardless.
Keep your chest up, your chin high. Is your head up, chin high? Never heard that before. Wait, hang on. I'm going to keep my chest up, my chin high. Yes. Chest up, chin high. Yes. All right. Sorry. More Stroud. We're trying to have some fun.
I mean, we'll go back and look at the film, but I don't try to, you know, bulk it all together. You know, every year is different. You know, so I mean, this year point blank, we just didn't put points on the scoreboard. You know, our defense got stops all year, got turnovers, you know, put us in great position. And, you know, I didn't put us in position, you know, to get us the wins by scoring points, not in 7, not 3. So that's kind of how I look at it, and that's what it is. So, I mean, I take full responsibility. I'm the leader of the offense, and, you know, it's up to, you know, a lot of the things are on me to get it done to, you know, get us 7. And, you know, we just didn't get that done this year, and I didn't get that done. So I take full responsibility, but I think, you know, as I look back, maybe that's the thing, you know, we got to get better offensively.
Yeah, well, I mean, we said that last year, and we said that the year before that. Shout out to Coug Blaze for the bits. See, now I can actually see if you guys give me bits. I don't know what bits are, but shout out for the bits. Go Cougs. It's Cougs basketball season because the Rockets are bad at basketball now. Did the Rockets lose to the Pelicans today, by the way? Now I got to pay attention to basketball. Junior Broncos was making fun of me earlier for that. I don't blame him. Facebook. We did get a Facebook comment in here eventually. Jacob Weathington says CJ should be embarrassed with his play. He let the city completely down. Yeah, does feel that way. Sure does feel that way. What else do we got? More from CJ Stroud. I know, guys. We're almost done. CJ, I watched The Last Samurai on Friday. Have you thought about seppuku? I'm kidding.
No, I mean everybody's entitled to their own opinion, you know, and I know, I know that I'm, still getting better, and I still got a lot of things to figure out. You know, I'm year 3
today, Junior.
For me, it'll be year 4 next year, and I'm still learning every day. You know, I had a new system this year and new guys, and
Wonder if it's another system next year.
Something that I'm still getting adjusted to. But yeah, I mean that's no excuse. It's just I gotta learn from that. And I try my best to forget successes and failures. So regardless of, what it is in that specific season, I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to move on. I'll be better, and I'm going to be back.
Well, that's fun. His name is CJ Stroud. He's a quarterback of the Texans. CJ Stroud. And
yeah, I mean, they did a good job of stunting.
My Texans.
They had a really good D-line, and they were good on the back end. So, the pick six, he made a heck of a play. I tried to make a play and had a guy open, but, he hit my arm and made a great play, and I just, in that moment, probably just take a sack, go on to the next play. But, it's something I can learn from, and it just sucks that it has to be, in this game and in this environment, on this stage. But, like I said, I'm not going to hold my head down, and I just feel bad. I really feel like I let my teammates down, but I'm gonna move forward.
He did let him down. He sure did. He's not crying like Josh Allen. I think some people are gonna be like, "Why aren't you crying like Josh Allen?"
Yeah, I think it comes back to the foundation. I think the way, the McNairs have built, our organization, with hiring DeMeco and Nick, I thought they did a great job, and, I think the future is bright for us, and I'm excited, to be in it, and to be on this team. And
man, you sound so excited, but I mean, you did lose, so I get it.
In this city, so I don't take that for granted. But I think Will's right. We have a lot of ball left in our careers, God willing. So we're gonna learn from this and move on.
2 more y'all right here, and then BJ.
CJ, some of the broadcast replays looked like your hand got a little banged up. How was your hand feeling? Did that happen, and did that influence your game?
I mean, yeah, I got hit, but I mean that happens every game. So I mean, it didn't really affect it. I just, probably just try to shake it to get some blood flow back in it, but it didn't really affect it in many ways. Yeah.
No excuses, at least.
Yeah, it means a lot. It means the world to me because I know the work. I see the work people put in every day. I see, the grind that we've been put on, especially, when we went 0-3 and, for us to win, or was it like 9 or 10 in a row, to see.
It's pretty crazy they won 10 in a row. I mean, they did have a 10-game winning streak, but here's how it works. Just people don't give a shit.
Seeing everybody get in there early, put their best foot forward and don't blame, don't point fingers, and just work. And so I'm just really appreciative of that. And I don't take that lightly. And I just, want them to know that I love them, and I told them that, and I will always be there for them. I know they're there for me. So, this isn't the end. This is just,
All right, I'm done. I'm done. I did a lot of this. Shout out to BGHTX. For the super chat, no way DeMeco isn't losing the locker room, locking this cat in at quarterback 1. Maybe more a Nick Caserio decision, ownership decision, but yeah. Let's wrap up. There's like 5 seconds left in this Stroud press conference. We'll get to some of your
Something in my
comments.
story and our story, as the Texans, that, God willing, that it'll get better soon.
It'll get better soon. Well, not for months and an entire offseason. Another super chat. We got a super chat from one Jared EG1. Thank you very much for the super chat. His lack of real ownership for this loss is gross. No, I think he owned it. He's just not crying like Josh Allen. I kind of want him to cry. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We have some fun comments about what the Texans should do next at quarterback. Eric Juarez says their rookie season from CJ really had you fooled. Yeah, man, I think it had a lot of us fooled, but it did have me fooled. I am officially not a believer of CJ Stroud anymore as the next chosen one. I'm out. I was patient, and I'm probably never gonna say a quarterback is the guy again unless it's Drake May. People are saying trade him to the Browns. That's Thunderbolt 7134. I don't know. Do the Browns have any picks left? 75 Corchester says bring back Case Keenum. Shout out to you, 75 Corchester. That was funny. Trades job for draft picks. I'll even take Anthony Richardson or Mac Jones. No, man, we're not doing Anthony Richardson or Mac Jones. We're not doing that. BGHTX says he did all his crying prior to the presser. He might have. What could you realistically get for CJ Stroud in a trade? Asks Ronnie B323. $5. No, I'm kidding. $6. No, I'm kidding. You're gonna get a couple of picks, but not as many as you would think, because one, there's just the 2 years left in his contract, and you're assuming he's going to have to sign that mega extension. And also, I mean, just take a look at this year and the year before it. His value was at its peak at the end of his rookie year, but the excuses are all gone. It was Bobby Slowick in the offensive line last year to this year. He got sacked less this season. I don't think this Nick Caley offense was great, but it felt like it had its moments. Stroud had his moments in it. I'm very curious as to what happens next. Ozzy D123, thanks for the super chat. He says Dak Prescott with that defense makes it to the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, yeah, a couple of years ago, he was MVP candidate with the numbers he put up, and this year he played pretty well too. It wasn't Dak's fault that they didn't make it. It wasn't his fault. 713 says Judkins for CJ Stroud. Day One Donna says a bag of chips. Maybe that would work. That's going to wrap up today's show. Normally we do the Gallant Says live stream at 7 in the morning, but it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day tomorrow, and I don't feel like doing it. Plus the Texans lost, so I don't think people are really going to want to join us. So we're going to do it at noon tomorrow. We might do a watch party for the college football playoff, because the watch parties have been doing pretty well. And it'll be a therapy session in case anyone missed today's post-game show. I'm going to do a little quick 1-minute Texans Patriots in a nutshell video, and I'm going to post it. And then I am going to I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have some fun. I appreciate everyone who has made this football season, where I haven't been working at a radio station, making me a part of your routine. It really means a lot. This is my favorite sport. It bums me out that this team constantly ends the seasons like this, and that we still have yet to see the Texans in an AFC championship game. I hope that you find me entertaining, because that's what I'm here to do. I know I'm not like the most X's and O's football guy there, but considering how tough this has personally been for me, just not having a radio show every single day, I just want to let everybody know who is watching. I really appreciate your support. Whatever way you've done it, whether you've just subscribed and liked the video on YouTube or given me a super chat on Twitch as well, the followers, especially the subscribers, my Twitchers. I really love you guys. You have been phenomenal all season long, even if maybe you're not the biggest football fans. On X, at Gallant Says, at Gallant Says Pod, Instagram, at Sports Gallant. My Instagram has blown up with some of these stupid shit posts I've done with Tex Gallant over the last couple of days. Check them out if you want to laugh. And also just read the comment section. I imagine they're even worse now because Patriots fans are probably talking a lot of shit. On TikTok, at Gallant Says, thank you very much, TikTokers. I wish that I could make the TikTok experience the same that it is for everybody else. But 2,000 likes on this video on TikTok, so you guys rule. It's available after the fact, Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I will post this in its entirety instead of like just a little quick segment like I normally do. But if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the Gallant Says podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. This is a shitty end for the Texans, but the future of the Gallant Says podcast, at least until I find a real job, is that we're going to keep on doing it, and we're going to have a little bit more fun with football season in the books. What we're going to do, there's going to be more just bullshit that we talk about. Probably more politics. But it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun this offseason. We're going to put the Texans in the rearview mirror. We will do an episode tomorrow where we talk more about the Texans. We react to more of what was said after the game, in case you didn't have a chance to tune in. And I'm thinking we will do a watch party for the college football playoff championship between, Miami and Indiana. I think Indiana's going to win by 1 million. Personally, but my prediction's not doing so hot. Shout out to the Rhino for the super chat at the end. I am merely Paul Gallant. Thank you so much again. Blah, blah, blah. I'm getting a little emotional talking to y'all. So long. Farewell. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. You will hear from me again tomorrow at noon. And until then, peace!
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu.